Good morning, friends and family of the internet. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So my name is Samantha, and I want to have this conversation with you. First thing, I hope as many of you as possible will be able to make the Zoom tonight, June 7th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you got your email, because you get the newsletter, you have the Zoom link, please be there. It's a very important meeting. If you'd like the newsletter, you have about an hour before I quit sending out Zoom links. Look in the top of comments. It costs $30 once every 6 months. Now on to the actual topic of this video. Why, when I was looking up sexual assault information, did I run across that the #1 sexually assaulted ethnic group in America, Native American women, right? First Nations. Why was it when I found that the first thing they blamed rape on was systematic oppression? What kind of world do we live in? You're blaming something that happened in the 1800s, literally the 1800s, on what's happening today in 2025. That's your answer to sexual assault of Native American women? Is systematic oppression and colonialism? Really? Not the men who are doing it? We're not going to just go on and say it for what it is. Native American women are being raped because the tribes are spending their money on ridiculous stuff other than police officers? I went on to look, and I was so shocked at the excuses made by the tribal commissions and the elders. We don't have the money for police officers. So in general, in the United States, there's one police officer to like every 256 people. At least that's what it was in 2022. I'm sure it's more the average of 1 to 400 now. So many officers have quit. And our population keeps, growing. So my thing is this, if you're on a reservation, it's like 1 to every 586 people. You have 1 officer to 586. That's the ratio. Yet, tell me why more tribes are doing land leases with the federal government, which I'm just going to go on and just say it. They your mama. The federal government is like the most paying job in America. Getting grants. That's why so many people are in, they're social activists. They're nonprofits. So they can get that money, right? Because federal government always pays your tax dollars. So they get billions every single year from the federal government to help with things like police officers. All that stuff. Then you've got land leases, which right now, we have the highest amount in history of Native American tribes that are working with the federal government on land leases, which is actually making several Native Americans extremely rich, can I tell you? Individuals plus tribes, okay? Then you've got casinos. Then you've got tourism, which is like a huge revenue builder for Native Americans. They get monthly payments from their tribes, yet they have the worst schools in the nation. They have the worst health care in the nation. They have the highest rapes in the nation. Make it make sense, America. I just don't understand how everybody can continue to blame it on the white man when the white man keeps dumping billions of dollars into your coffers. Where's the money going? Have you held your officials accountable? I'm just asking. I said this once, and I honest to God mean it. Could you imagine living? Look at Chicago, okay? Look at the mayor of Chicago. Look at the female mayor that was just removed from California for saying this.
Don't get it twisted. I am the mayor, but I'm a I am hurt. I am frustrated. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired.
A few moments later.
San Francisco elects a new mayor. Incumbent Mayor London Breed has been ousted by Levi Strauss heir Daniel Lurie.
I'm just saying, what if I ran for police jury in my community and went, don't get it twisted. I'm a police juror, but I'm a white woman first. And I am angry at the 93% crime on crime in the black community, at the 68%. I'm just saying, stop with the identity politics. It's low IQ. I had this conversation with a friend the other day, and I'm not going to name her, but I'm going to go ahead and just say this. The reason we're being flooded with third world immigrants is very clear. If you go look at the countries that they're fleeing from, there's a mob mentality and a low IQ behavior. Just listen. People who repeat themselves, people who ask the same question over and over and over again, people who jump straight to cursing or physical altercation when they are uncomfortable at something, are low IQ, low impulse people. And I want you to notice all the fireworks that were going off around the police officers in that clip, as well as around the citizens in Paris, France. That was a mob blamed on a football game, but we all know it was illegal immigrants rioting like they always do, because that's what third world countries do, folks. Most of you have never left your state. If you've ever traveled the world, you know I'm telling you the truth. This clip was sent to me. I want you to hear this gentleman as he talks about how the next mass casualty event will happen, how they're going to disperse it. And you'll understand why what you're seeing is a prelude to what is actually coming.
The murder of 280,000 Americans on a single day. And the best part of it is they're going to blame a foreign actor for it, except for a tiny little problem. Yeah, if you hop down to page 9 of that National Blueprint for Biodefense, Seth, and highlight the first major paragraph under the U.S. House of Representatives, let's go ahead, for the sake of everybody on here, make sure that we read it. We were attacked, and we don't know who did the attack, but the infectious agent they used killed 280,000 Americans and infected at least 400,000 throughout the country on a single day, in addition to 200,000 dead and 800,000 sickened animals. Now, there are two names that I want to call your attention to: Gerald W. Parker and George Post. Those names are names that people should be familiar with, but they are not. These are veterinary scientists and gain-of-function scientists who have done an enormous amount of work in a variety of pathogens. George Post famously was very much involved in the Arizona contribution to the gain-of-function research that brought us COVID-19 and all of those kinds of things. And here we have the same actors. In this case, we have the ability to go into their research and find out what kind of pathogen would go after humans and animals on the same day. How do we figure out what that is? And it turns out that there are a bunch of options. Nipah virus is what they refer to in this scenario, but equine encephalitis, which is a huge gain-of-function problem. On July 4th, on the celebration of the 249th year of America in its formation, we are going to allegedly have a biological weapons attack. And do you realize, Seth, that not a single person in law enforcement, not a single person in the White House, not Bobby Kennedy at HHS, not a Tulsi Gabbard at the DNI, not a single person is actually taking an action to interdict the actors that I'm talking about. This is not a problem that happened during the Biden non-presidency. This is a thing that is a statement of intent to once again take advantage of human dynamics.
So,
where we are going to appeal to fear, we are going to appeal to this notion that somebody out there attacked us, where we know already who the actors are. We have a high probability of knowing what they're going to say the pathogen was. And remember, these are not pathogens. These are weapons deployed against humanity. And as I've said many times, we can go back and look at the likely delivery mechanisms, which are rocket-propelled grenades that have blast-resistant pathogen concussive devices that allow a pathogen to be spread over a stadium, over a park, over any one of a mass gathering event, where you wouldn't know the difference between a firework going off and a pathogen ballistic device spreading toxins across a crowd. In fact, if I were going to do it, I would actually do it during the fireworks celebrations.
We have them across all ethnicities. The problem is that in America, we used to teach people debate skills. I remember in high school and college, I had to take public speaking, where I learned to look people in their eye when I was speaking to them. I learned to debate a topic that I didn't even like. Like they actually gave me the topic of for abortion rights. And everybody knows I'm anti-abortion. But in college, I had to stand up and do a debate, a 3-minute talk on why I believed abortion should be legal. Was it uncomfortable? Yeah, but it taught me something. It taught me to research on both sides of the issue. Not just what I believed, but be able to debate from both sides of that issue, for and against, regardless of how I felt about it. We don't do that anymore. There's a reason we don't. Just hear me out. Now we're allowing people from third world countries, if you go watch how they handle things, it ends up in the street in riots. Now you add that to the 20% of people who are liberal lunatics, regardless of their educational status. That paper doesn't mean anything anymore. And you see these people rioting their low IQ because they don't have any ability to have a rational discussion and to search out the truth. They can't. They can't search within. They can't search without. That's why they're importing them. There's several reasons why they are, but they're mainly doing that to rile up and to fluff the numbers of insane Americans. So when everything does pop off, it's mass chaos. And one of the ways they do that is to demoralize the native population of a land.
Black people anymore, they don't want to be around you.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, and absolutely true. But even if you had a legitimate cause, if you had one, the attitude and the way you're doing it is hurting and not helping.
That's true. Attitude is hurting and not helping.
People concerned about the black on black violence in Chicago and other places, they're only intimidating white folks to get something from them, but they show no love for blacks who are living in the ghettos and killing each other.
Now, I know that Native Americans are the indigenous peoples of America till about 800 years ago, but there were people before them, and tribes were consistently raiding, taking each other in as captives, fighting. Yeah, they did that. I said it. So my thing is this. Most of us can trace our roots in America back to the 1700s. We are now currently the native people of this land. And what you're seeing is a colonization of America with the world's least educated, least motivated, least healthy, least IQ'd people in the world. And there is a purpose for that. Like, comment, subscribe. If you'd like to support our channel, you know what to do.